Hey guys, this is Anthony Morganti from anthonymorganti.com. This is episode 4 of Learn Lightroom 6, also called Lightroom CC. In this episode, we're going to process a portrait. Now, in episode 3, I might have mentioned that I was going to do the detail panel in this episode. If I did say that, I misspoke. We're not doing the detail panel in this episode. We're going to do it in the next episode. So right now we're going to process this portrait. Well, a number of portraits. And I'll show you what I mean. Now first of all, as you know, I like to maximize my workspace. And to do that very quickly, I'll hit Shift Tab and it maximizes the workspace. But I need the right panel, so we're just going to go over here and click on that little triangle to open the right panel. Now, before I actually get started with the portrait retouch, I want to show you the difference between the clone and the heal modes of the spot removal brush. And to do that, I'm using this picture of this model that has this fan over her one eye. And I'm going to take feathering all the way down, so I do not want a feathered brush. Opacity all the way up, and I'm going to increase the size of the brush. Now, I mentioned numerous times in the past you could increase the size of the brushes by hitting the right bracket key. The left bracket key will make it smaller. If you have a PC that has a mouse with the center wheel, you could use that to change the size of the brush. And also, somebody emailed me and mentioned that, of course, you could do it with a magic mouse on a Mac. It doesn't have a wheel. You just run your finger on the mouse. And that actually is the way I do it all the time. So I just wanted to mention that in case I failed. Well, apparently I failed to mention it. So anyways, we're in heal mode. I have feathering all the way down, and I'm just going to get a big sample of her cheek right here. And it's sampled right here. But I'm going to drag this over here to over the fan. And as you can see, if you look when you were in heal mode, it took the actual texture of the fan, and it took kind of the luminance values of the fan itself. And it kind of melded it with the pixels that are on her cheek, and that's what happens when you're in heal mode. And that's what I normally will use heal mode, I bet at least 90% of the time. Now watch what happens if I switch it to clone mode. I'm going to click on clone, and you can see it actually took the pixels and made copies of them and just transported those pixels and put them right on her cheek. So this chunk of the fan, it's as though we just copied it and put it right there. So that gives you an idea of the difference between heal and clone. I think heal is a little more subtle and generally works better with skin of people and works better in the sky usually and things like that. But there are going to be some instances maybe where clone will work better. So you could always easily, while your spot is active, you could just switch between the two like this and see which one works better. Now, as I mentioned, that's just a side thing that I want to show you what this difference is between clone and heal. And the reason being, I'm going to reset that, is we're going to be doing, I don't know what happened there, we're going to be doing this image here. Now this, I don't have any portraits in my library that are model released or not family, and I don't want to use any family portraits. So those of you that watch my videos know I've used this image many times. I got it from a stock photo site, and I think it's supposed to show acne, so it works out good to try to show you how to process the image. Couple notes: when you're photographing someone for a portrait, you should nail lighting. So you should have your shadows, you should have the highlights, you should have all that done. So there'd be minimal stuff you have to do down here in the basic panel. Maybe you want to touch exposure a little bit, maybe you need to adjust white balance slightly, but you really, as a photographer, should have nailed that in camera. So in this image here, it's pretty much out of camera. I don't think this photographer did any retouching to this. So we really don't have to do anything much with highlights or shadows. And really you should strive for the same thing when you're taking portraits. And even if you're in a studio setting or you're taking a lifestyle type shot, you're outside or you're in someone's living room and you're taking photographs, you should really have a handle on the lighting so you nail it in camera. You may want to mess with the clarity a little. You may want to mess with the vibrance a little. That's totally up to you, and could be applied your style and your vision of what the image should be. So I'm not going to be doing much with the basic panel or anything like that because this photographer did a nice job of exposing the image properly. Now, one thing, the lighting is a little harsh, and I think the photographer did that on purpose because he wanted to exploit the acne on the young lady's face. So typically, as a photographer, you'd want to soften the light for something like this. Also, she has some nasty little shadows by her nose here, which you'd want to avoid. As you can see right here, it almost looks like she has 4 nostrils. So that's an issue too, and that should have been taken care of in camera when you're doing the shot. But we'll see what we could do with it now. Mainly what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be getting rid of her acne and softening her skin. And we're going to do that with the brush. Or I'm sorry, first of all, we're going to do some of it with the brush, but we're going to start out with the spot removal tool. And that's why I was showing you the difference between clone and heal. I'm going to be working in heal mode, and I'm going to have feathering around the middle. This is the way I do it. I expect you to experiment when you're removing blemishes on somebody and see if you like feathering a little higher, a little lower. It might be image dependent for you. It depends, but usually I keep it between 50 and 70, somewhere in there. And what we're going to do is we're going to just make the brush just slightly bigger than the blemish and click. And we could go relatively quickly. And what you'll see is as you go, sometimes it might not sample where you want it to. If that's the case, then you could drag it like I did in the previous image and move the sampling spot around. So that's totally up to you. So I'm going to go relatively quick. Now we could zoom in, and to zoom in you could hit Command plus to zoom in and Command minus to zoom out. That's on a Mac. On a PC you'd hit Control plus or Control minus. You also could open up this panel if you so choose, and right up here you could see fit fill 1:1 and stuff like that. And that is will help you zoom in, but I prefer to use the keyboard shortcuts Command plus. Also, if the tool were closed, I could just click on the tool and it will zoom in and out, but obviously we have the tool open right now. So I'm going to go relatively quickly so you get the idea. I'm just going to keep adjusting the size of the brush, and as I have the magic mouse I just kind of drag my finger along the mouse and that will take care of that. Now, one thing a lot of people wonder, what if she had like a mole, like a Cindy Crawford mole? Usually what most photographers will do is they will not get rid of anything that's inherent to their being, like a mole, something like that. Now, blemishes come and go, so you might want to just get rid of those. I mean, that's out of courtesy for your client. Now, I want to drag the image around, and I could leave it zoomed in like this, and I could leave the tool open. All I have to do is hold the space bar in, and you could see how the cursor turns into the little hand. Then I could click down with the left mouse button, and I could drag around here, and I could get rid of some of these other ones. Now, I didn't like where that sampled, and I don't like that at all, so I'm going to delete it by hitting the delete key, and it got rid of it. So I might have to do this one in pieces. So we're going to do like this. Sorry, it's hard for me to concentrate and talk at the same time. I'm going very quickly, or as quick as possible, without totally screwing it up. So I think you get the gist. You're just going to go through this methodically and try to get rid of as many blemishes that you deem are worth getting rid of. We're going to drag it back down. Go here. Just got some dry skin flaking here and there too. See what we could do there. Didn't like that sample. Also, now, you could adjust the opacity too if you feel that it's not blending well, so you could bring the opacity down or up. So it's totally by your own you know, opinion on how it should look. So I could keep going here, but I'm going to stop there. She's got little freckles down here. Let's do these real quick. Okay, that's good enough for now. So what I'll do actually is I'm going to try to get rid of these shadows right here. And to do that, I'm going to leave feathering on for now. Now you could draw, I've been just clicking down and doing circles to get rid of these little spots here and there, but you could actually paint with it like that. Now that looks horrible, so we're going to move it over there. That looks a little better. Let's see. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. Okay, so we're going to close the tool down. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to hit Command minus to zoom back out. Okay, yeah, it did all right. So you could keep going if you want, but that gives you an idea how you could use the spot removal tool to remove blemishes on anyone's face. Now we're going to soften her skin. So we're going to go to the brush tool. This is where I misspoke earlier. So we're going to go right to the brush tool, and there's actually a preset for skin softening in the brush tool. And if you go right here where it says custom, we'll open that up, and you go down right to here, it says soften skin, and we're just going to click on that, and it will automatically move the sliders where they should be to soften the skin. Now you might not, it might soften it too much. The default setting, it does soften it quite a bit, but I'm going to show you how to adjust that. So we're just going to start here. Now what you want to avoid is you don't want to soften her hair, her eyebrows, her lips, her eyes, and you just want to do like her skin, and as simple as that. So I'm going to get a bigger brush down here. So again, I apologize. I'm trying to make the videos as concise as possible, so I tend to go quickly, and I apologize if I'm losing anyone or if I'm not doing a good enough job on the images. I hope you guys all understand. So I want to get around her eye here. Alright, now I'm going to hover over the button and see where I painted, because that overlay comes on. And you can see I stayed pretty much away from her eyebrows, but we could try to get in there a little closer and soften it up so it looks smooth. I'm going to hover over this again. And I did miss a little bit right there. Not that it matters too much. Her hairline, it's got kind of a distinct line now. So we're going to get up in there and try to soften that up a little bit. So we're going to get a little bit of her hairline in the softening. Okay, I'd say that's good enough for that. I'm going to hit a before by hitting the backslash key. There's before, there's after, there's before, there's after. Hit the Y key. If you don't have the backslash key on your keyboard, there's been somebody very kindly wrote in the comments section that German keyboard is Shift V as in Victor. That is for a German keyboard, and a French keyboard is Shift S as in Sam. That's the same effect as this backslash key. All right, now if this softening is too much for you, just go to clarity, and with this, make sure this button is active. So click on it to make sure it's active, and you could move clarity around, so you can make her look really bad. So we don't want to do that. So we're going to leave it. I'm going to leave it high, even though this is higher than I normally would have it. I just want to leave it high so you could see the effect, because I don't know how much the video gets degraded when you stream it and things like that. So I'm done with this brush tool for now. I'm going to come back to it. There is something I want to do. I'm going to click in to zoom in, and these bags under her eyes. So I want to try to soften those. So I'm going to go back to the spot removal tool. I'm going to keep it in heal mode. I'm going to bring feathering down a little more. and I'm going to leave opacity for now relatively high. Now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to paint. I'm trying to avoid her eyelashes. And you can see it sampled way over here, and I don't want it to sample there. Usually, if you're trying to get rid of the bags under someone's eyes, it's a good bet to just go below on her cheek. And we'll come off that, and you can see that did a decent job. I'm going to hold the space bar in so I could drag over this way, and we're going to try to soften these a little more. Now the skin softening did do a decent job of taking care of that a little bit, but we want to do more. Now I'm dragging it under the sampling area on her cheek. Let's see what that looks like. Now this one here, it looks a little harsh, so I'm going to soften. I'm going to just turn the opacity down just a little. And I'm going to hit Command minus to zoom out. And that doesn't look too bad. I'm going to hit Command minus again. And that's decent. I mean, it's really overbaked. I admit it. So this really does kind of look fake. But remember, with the brush tool, when you soften skin, you could use the contrast control, bring it down, or up actually. So you want it to go more positive to make it less of an effect. And as far as the spot removal tool, you would use the opacity tool to soften that up a little bit so it doesn't look as like, you know, baked, for lack of a better term. All right, next we're going to do is we're going to enhance her irises. Now there's not a lot to enhance here because her eyes are kind of dilated, but we're going to go to the brush tool again, and you can see there's another preset here, Iris Enhance. So we're going to go to Iris Enhance. I want to zoom in again, so I'm going to hit Command or Control plus. I think I'm going to hit it twice. And what you want to do is you want to avoid the black part of her eye. You want to just hit the iris. So I have feathering around 79 in this case. Again, you could experiment, and you just want to paint over her iris. And as I said, it's going to be hard for you to see because there's not a lot of her iris showing, and her irises aren't, I guess, I don't want to be insulting, but they're not real, you know, vibrant, I guess. So there's not a lot to see, but that's how you would adjust her irises. Now zooming in like this, I see some more dry skin here, so I'm going to go back to the spot removal tool and bring feathering up a little, and I'm going to get rid of this dry skin. Now see here, you'll encounter this sometimes. Let me drag it up. I have a spot that I removed here, and I want to remove this one. Well, every time I hover over, it's making that one active. So it's difficult. Like, what can you do? Well, you have to start outside that circle, and then you'll have to click down and drag in. That's the only way to do that. And we're gonna move the sample spot over here. And then that's good enough, I guess. And we got some dry skin here. And it's sampling there. I don't want it to sample there. A lot of times you'll have to move the sample area around. And we had more dry skin here. This is going to be the tricky one right here. Try to get it as small as you can. Yeah, that's not good. Sometimes you wonder the algorithm they use. There, that's better. Alright, we'll get rid of that one. Now these two I have to go outside the previous circle that I did and do that. And then we'll do that. Alright, I think that's going to be okay for now. You get the idea of what I'm trying to do. Now, we want to enhance the lips. So we're going to close the spot removal tool down, and we're going to open the brush tool again. Now there's really no preset for enhancing the lips. So we're going to reset all these sliders by double clicking on Effect. That'll reset the sliders. And if you remember, you also could hold the Alt or Option key in, and it will turn into Reset. And you could click on it that way too. Now what I want to do is I want to add some clarity so it will really kind of define her lips a little better. And I want to add some saturation like that. So we're going to do that. We're just going to paint on her lips like this. Now, I don't like what it's doing. It kind of looks horrible. So, let's see here. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, she's got kind of blotchy lips, so there's not a lot you could do with that. You could open up this color picker here, and you could pick a color like the red there, and kind of pre-color her lips a little bit. So that helped a little. Kind of looks a little fake, but that's up to you if you want to do that. If you don't like it, you could just hover over, click on the button, and you could hit the delete key on your keyboard and get rid of it. But I'm going to leave it there now so you could see what we're doing. Now, the other thing you might want to do is enhance her hair a little bit. In this case here, I mean, she just has her hair pulled back. But if you had a model and she had her hair done, what you could do then is the similar thing I did here, except we don't want to enhance saturation. We just want to bring clarity and sharpness up a little bit, and we want to paint on her hair. Now we want to avoid her her skin, because we softened the skin a minute ago, and now we're adding clarity to the hair. So we want to be careful. So you're just adding some clarity, and I'm going to bring it down just a little bit, like that. Now I'm going to get another new brush by double-clicking on New right here, and then I'm going to double-click. Well, I'm going to leave clarity. Well, I'm going to double-click on Effect with that, and I'm going to enhance her eyebrows by bringing clarity up. So again, any hair you want to have higher clarity usually, and skin you want lower clarity. That's kind of the idea. All right, you could do her eyelashes too, but I'm going to leave those alone for now. Now, I'd say that, it's pretty much done as far as this specific model is concerned. There's one thing that's also a preset in here is teeth whitening. Now obviously she's not showing her teeth, so that's why I have this image. And this is a scary image, but as you can see, this dude's teeth are not very white. He also has a severe nose hair problem, but that's beside the point. So what we're going to do is we're going to whiten his teeth, and it's really easy to do. Is you go to the brush preset and you go down to teeth whitening, and it will set, all it did really was bring saturation down. But look at this. I'm going to leave the brush feathering around 58, around 50 or so is good, and you can see how it just brush it on his teeth like that. You can whiten them up considerably. So there's before, and there's after. Now you can see I spilled over on his face over here, so we're going to hold the Alt or Option key in. It's Alt if you have a PC, Option if you have a Mac, and we're going to get rid of where I spilled over. I think I spilled over here too. Okay, so that's how you would whiten teeth. Now I'm going to go back to our previous model. I'm going to close down the brush tool, but I'm going to hit that backslash key again. There's before and there's after. Now before, after. Now that is really, really overbaked. But I wanted to give you an idea how powerful the tools are and what you can do with them. So, just probably want to back off the skin softening specifically quite a bit. So I hope that all made sense. I'd like to thank everyone that watches my videos. Thank you very, very much. And I mentioned it in every video, but I keep getting emails. People keep emailing me. The raw files will be available when the videos are all done. I already said that you'll be able to purchase the videos, and included with the videos will be the raw files. So I just wanted to say that again. And in the next video, in episode 5, I'll be going over the detail panel, and we'll be talking about sharpening and noise reduction, and we'll be going over this in detail and how you could use it to really make your images pop. Alright? Thank you, folks. Thank you, everyone, for watching my videos. Thank you for all the shares. Thank you for all the likes. Thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel. I certainly appreciate it. Alright, I'll talk to you soon.